You see this logo? This is my company logo that also looks like the OnlyFans logo. But anyways, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm leveraging this YouTube and Instagram lead funnel to book calls with prospects who are literally my dream clients. Look at this. Imagine booking calls with people earning 5, 10K, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month with 100% ready to buy your product. Everything I'm going to show you in this video. I've also used this exact same principle to book 200 sales calls in 60 days for a B2C info offer I was running, scale to over 25,000 subscribers, and generate $250,000 views in 60 days. Everything inside of this video. This is something that my clients pay literal money for, but I'm going to give it to you for free because I want to have some goodwill, and yeah, I just want to help you guys out. So let me just explain first of all the exact sales cycle in outreach and why it's so fucked. You're going to be very surprised when you understand this. The few steps in outreach which you're probably doing is what is causing you to not get any sort of results. Let me explain. Outreach, first step is actually just sourcing your leads. You need to have a place to actually send these emails and DMs to. So you sit down like a manual laborer, like a fucking dumbass, sit down to find leads, and you're finding plausible prospects who are constantly reached out to, because everybody uses Apollo. Everybody uses the same fucking software to find these leads. Every single company you see, they've probably been reached out to over 1,000 times. The market is completely rinsed out, and saturation is of the mind. It's not the niche that is saturated, it is the mind that is saturated, and they are not open to you anymore. It's like this. The red part is outreach. Over time, the market slowly gets saturated, and now you're trying to maybe pitch your insane guarantee, insane offer, and no wonder nobody even is giving you any sort of attention, because your sales cycle fundamentally is absolutely flawed. I'm going to explain later on exactly how I leverage this funnel. It's absolutely insane. You're going to love it fully. Anyways, the market is rinsed out completely because everybody's reaching out to the same people. Now, next thing, mass outreach. You find these prospects who have already been reached out to. You send outreach messages to them. Or outreach at scale with no personalization. I've had so many DMs of people who send me shitty cold DMs, which literally have the dash that AI like ChatGPT uses. The literal dashboard. They don't even remove that shit. I had an outreach by a guy who literally put his name and then put my name and sent the message. That is the quality of people doing this shit. And you are doing the same thing with outreaching at scale with no personalization, the same template, in hopes that maybe the person who's actually listening to what you have to say will feel like, oh my god, this is actually something valuable. No, it's not. Nobody gives a shit about you. It's optimized for massive traffic flow through and not controlled quality, which lowers trust, increases guard of prospects. It's like this. You fill a pipe with as much water as possible, and you capture a small percentage of that water, and you say cold email and outreach sucks. Whoa, I just dropped my lights, which is insane. But you say outreach sucks because of this, because of the fact that nobody actually wants to buy your stuff, because you're doing this mass outreach at scale. Whereas with the funnel I'm going to show you later on, you're not feeding the pipe with more water, you're feeding it with quality. We focus on quality of the prospects over the quantity of them. This is the difference between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. We scale vertically first. We scale your inbound acquisition vertically, and then we fucking maximize it horizontally. That's how you win. That's how you scale any sort of system. My clients get one-on-one access with me for this, so you can check the description whenever you want to. But when you do this mass scale outreach, you're lowering trust, which increases guards of prospects. Imagine this. Imagine you're in a fucking fight, right? Imagine you are in a MMA fight and you're constantly jabbing to the opponent. The opponent is constantly getting jabbed. Do you think they're going to put their hands down? Do you think that's going to happen? That they're going to put their hands down and be like, oh, maybe he's not going to jab me. Maybe, this guy, maybe Rohit is not actually here to jab me. He's here to hug me. No shit, bro. Just stupid, bro. If you believe that, this person who thinks this, that if he's constantly getting jabbed and thinks that, oh, maybe the next person doesn't want me to jab, or the next person doesn't want to jab me, they're stupid. They're absolutely stupid. You do mass outreach. The next thing you know, you've got bad leads. You've got interested prospects, usually interested out of curiosity and authority. I'm not saying cold outreach does not work. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the interested prospects who you have reached out to are interested only out of curiosity and not authority. Just curious about either your offer or your guarantee. They want to know more about what you do and don't actually want to work with you. There is a difference between wanting to know more and actually wanting the thing. It's a very fine line, but there is a difference. And interest fades between day of booking and show up day. You already know that, right? But think about it like this. The only way, it's like a race to the bottom. Think about this. Let's say this is the market, or this is the people, the niche. The amount of people selling the same stuff as you. This is time. It's bound to go up. So what's going to happen is that the supply is always going to be greater than the demand. If you heard about a business model, a niche on like social media, the case is probably this: the supply is higher than the demand. If it was the other way around, you wouldn't see it on social media, because guess what? People gatekeep it to make money, and there is nothing wrong about it. There's a huge supply but no low demand, and the only way for you to actually differentiate yourself is your offer then. Because when you're starting off, or when you don't have a lot of testimonials, your offer is what you can basically use. So either you reduce your price or you have an insane guarantee. And guess what? Markets are saturate with due lapse of time. That means no amount of offer optimization, guarantee optimization is going to work. Because guess what? Every single time you're going to do that, people are going to be fed up with you. People are going to get over you. And this is why inbound acquisition systems are so important to be set up in the right way. Because there are ways which is wrong, which I'm going to be covering, called hopeful inbound, which is basically going to go over exactly why inbound doesn't work for you. But the reason why outreach doesn't work for you is because since you're doing mass outreach, there is no frame of authority. There is no authority. People don't actually want to work with you. They don't. Prospects want to talk to you on a call because of your process or your guarantee. And interest is mainly based on offer and not you. People are not hopping on calls because they want to talk to Rohit. They're hopping on calls because Rohit has got an insane offer or an insane guarantee, which most likely he can't fulfill, which he's just using desperately to sign clients. Is that something that you would want to do? Is that something genuinely you would want to do? That sucks. That absolutely sucks. Second thing is called hopeful inbound. This is what most people do when they think about inbound. They think that personal branding is the way. Personal branding is it's like the biggest bullshit term that I've heard ever. It's the biggest bullshit term because there is a very fine line between a personal brand and inbound acquisition system, or IAS, like how I like to call it. Personal branding is where you're branding about yourself. You're creating a brand so that people buy around you. Inbound acquisition systems is slightly different, in which you're optimizing your content so that you convert more. I've been speaking for about 8 minutes right now, and you're still watching because I've done something correctly. I know some stuff that you don't, which is why you're here, which is why you're watching me right now speak to you in such a way. Because if you're relying on hopeful inbound, you're also fucked, by the way. You're like, this is like the worst thing that you can do. So this is what most people actually do. They post on IG, post on YouTube, the big two video platforms. So they do mass posting on IG and YouTube, which is then they're focused on value-based content, right? Value-based content, because somebody on the internet told them value is what you need to give, or Alex Hormozi told, give value to get customers. It does not account for market sophistication and needs, and you're just another person trying out inbound acquisition. You need to understand this. Market saturated with due lapse of time. That means what worked before is not going to work now. You need to find the gap in your market. You need to find this gap and leverage this gap. Leverage. Because leverage is how you win. There is no point in posting 100 pieces of video every single day. There is no point to it. I see a lot of people, these personal branding gurus, who are going to give you the advice that, the best advice I can, let me give a Trump impression and say this to you. A lot of people say that you gotta post content. I tell them, you gotta post 100 pieces of content. You're not gonna get results. Post for 100 days straight, and you're gonna see the results. Shut up, bro. So many personal branding gurus who are gonna be talking about this like, oh, you need to have like 100 pieces of content before you be consistent. Quality over quantity. Volume negates luck. Yes, it does, but not in this context. Because you are not accounting for market sophistication. It worked 3 years ago. 10 years ago, posting every single day on YouTube with no improvements whatsoever worked. It worked. It doesn't anymore. Most people post on IG and post on YouTube, and then they have a Calendly link in the description or in the Instagram bio. A link in bio with Calendly. Hopeful that somebody interested will actually book a call with them. Hopeful that maybe somebody interested will book a call. It's the same principle of cold outreach in inbound. Doesn't work because people buy based on trust and authority. When you're selling B2B, people buy based on trust and authority, not emotions. So it does not account for lack of touch points and trust, and it's best for attracting beginners because the actual sophisticated buyers, the people that have the money to pay for your services, are the people who you want as clients, who are smarter, who are not beginners, who are not dumb as fuck that you have to explain to them what ICP actually means. These people are not gonna book a call with you once they see a YouTube video for the first time ever on YouTube when they're fucking doom scrolling. They're not going to do that. You have to get out of this delusion. The booked calls that you have barely any booked calls, and you maybe close a few, which is why you say that inbound acquisition does not work and it's all a scam. You need to understand value ladder. Value ladder is very important to understand. Think about it this way. There are 3 phases your lead can go through before they actually get the transformation you're promising them with your product. Think about it like this. The 3 phases. If they follow through with these phases and they actually go through these phases and solve the specific problems they're going to face in every single one of these phases, they're going to get the dream result that you promise. So the A to B transformation that you're talking about is this. Guess what? Most of you watching, if you're selling B2B, you have a transformation for them to go from phase 2 to phase 3, which is where they pay you the money. You're trying to sell them this solution in this place. Of course nobody's going to buy. Of course nobody converts. Why do you think that? Why do you think if you're going to try and sell a stack of supplements or maybe even anabolic steroids to a beginner who has not even lifted a single dumbbell in their life, do you think they're going to buy? Actually, they might probably buy because people are dumb nowadays, but you get my point. If a solution that is meant for helping you go from phase 2 to phase 3 is something you're trying to sell to help people go from phase 1 to phase 2, you're fucking stupid to think that people are going to convert. They're never going to convert, and that's the reality of the situation, which is why the AI content ecosystem actually is the best funnel out there to create leverage, to create real leverage, so that every single piece of video that you put out compounds. It compounds and gets you the dream results you need. Let's take a look at this. You post top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel IG reels. Look at this. About 60,000 views on this one. ICP is created at scale. Your leads need different solutions at different stages of the ICP creation journey. Some need nurturing, some need to be converted, and some need to be made curious. This is the exact same thing that I'm talking about right over here. You've got different phases that your lead goes through to become your ICP. So if you think about this position right over here is your ICP stage. This is your ICP. They have to go from this stage first to become your ICP. So ICPs are never attracted, they're created at scale. It is better to create ICPs at scale than to attract them. It is better. Everybody's focused on attracting. Nobody's focused on creating ICP. So you post top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of reels every single week. So top of the funnel makes people curious. Every single start of the week, every single day, every Monday, for example, you post content which is top of the funnel, which makes the audience curious, want to know more about what you do. It just brings people inside the funnel. Middle of funnel nurtures audience and increases trust, shows your expertise. Bottom of funnel focus on conversion. You focus on solving ICP stage problems so that the ICP has no other choice but to work with you. Creating ICP at scale. You are the reason why ICPs are created, which is why they convert. Let me show you my Instagram right over here. This is my Instagram profile. Let me refresh so you know it's I'm not faking this shit. I've got 2,000 followers, right? I am attracting leads every single week with this simple account. Look at this. Look at my content, bro. Do you think this is complicated? Do you think all of this is complicated? Look at this. Look at this. This guy. Nick setting him, I was able to attract Nick setting himself. I'm talking to entrepreneurs you can't even dream of speaking to. Not in an egotistical way, but I never dreamt of speaking to these people. I am speaking to them just because of the way I structured my content ecosystem. Next thing, after you post, you redirect them to an optimized profile. So the optimized profile, there are two things, right? It creates massive credibility and conversions. Bio has a simple CTA to reach out to me. DM is system to book 20 calls per month with inbound acquisition systems. It optimizes for B is equal to MAP equation. Let me explain this. This is called BJ Fogg's behavioral equation. B equals M into A into P. What does that even mean? B is behavior, M is motivation, A is ability, and P is prompt. So you can only create behavior when you've got motivation, ability, and prompt together. Any one of these is missing, you cannot create any sort of influence. It is impossible for you to create any sort of influence. Nobody knows this. I'm 100% sure you did not know about this equation until now, which is exactly why you're still watching even though I've been talking for about 15 minutes. A simple CTA, P is equal to MAP optimization. Content gives the motivation and the ability, and bio has the P. Think about this. My content gives them the motivation and the ability to take the next steps, and my bio has a simple CTA, which is the prompt, which creates behavior that I want. It creates human behavior and ideal actions. I'm able to have ideal actions driven by my leads. I'm engineering that. It's so simple. It's one of the most insane things that I've discovered. Link in bio to YouTube. To some of the leads, when they're checking out your profile, they're going to redirect themselves to YouTube on, like, by default. They're just going to go there out of curiosity. You auto convert from YouTube and IG and vice versa. So you send them across platforms so that they are nurtured properly. Optimized profile has a few things. Daily story sequences. For example, this is a Monday story sequence. I like to call this the drip story sequence, because humans love to have things which are consistent cognitively. We love things which are consistent cognitively. We love to be normal. Anything that breaks the pattern causes the default part of our brain to turn off, and that hard manual and slow part of your brain to turn on. So that's why hooks work. They cause cognitive dissonance. When we have a pattern interrupt, our system 1, it's called the system 1 of the brain, it stops. It's meant for quick actions. It stops and it tells system 2, like, yo, you lazy fuck, get the fuck up and think about this. We apply it in the same way. We create story sequences which are aimed at creating curiosity first, so that the pattern interrupt is done. Creating consistency, because we love to be consistent. Humans love consistency. So we create consistency in actions of actually going to the next story, and a simple CTA. And there are different intentions of stories every single day. Different types of stories you must put every single day. My clients get access to that. And with the drip down style, you create consistency since people want to click more. Look at this example. I am so excited because this is the first slide. People instantly are interested because why am I excited? I've been focused on a lot of product work. P is equal to MAP equation explains behavior. Automate top of funnel, middle of funnel with N8N. Beating market sophistication with automated work. Reply with me. Work with me one-on-one. It's a drip style format. So you see the first story. There is a pattern interrupt with music. So you're immediately stopping the auto story washing that you do on a regular basis. Then you click, which creates consistency because it's easy to get to the next text. It's easy. It looks good. It feels good. I'm creating consistency. Look at this. These are the story. This is like the drip down format. Look at this. Oops. That's really bad. Look at this. 226 people. I had 50% of my audience move on to the next story. Look at this. More than 50%. Almost like about 85% of people went to the next story because of the drip down format. This is non drip down format, 50%. Drip down format, about 80 to 85%. I do this every single day. I can show you my story sequences. Look at my story sequences. Look at my story sequences. I'm creating these drip down format story sequences which makes people want to watch me. Look at my sick body, bro. Like, I'm creating brand awareness. I'm creating situations in which I'm like, genuinely, this is one of the most insane things that I've been working on for the past couple of months. Like, I'm genuinely so happy with this, and I'm so excited. You can hear it from my voice. I'm excited about this because I love what I've built. I love it. Optimized profile has a profile bio, which we already talked about. Now, next thing, highlight sequences. We also have highlight sequences, and one more thing that I want to explain is all of these reels that we post, We're going to find the working reels and break it down in YouTube, because it's like testing the waters. You find out what videos your market is responding to well and break down the video on YouTube. YouTube then acts as a lead nurturing mechanism. The better the video, the more the conversion. It's like killing two birds with one stone. You don't have to come up with any ideas. You test out for a week what reel works, make a video about that. It's like it reduces the amount of work that you have to do, instantly creates leverage, because I'm all about leverage. The optimized profile also has highlight sequences, and also with daily story sequences, sometimes I'll send them to weekly YouTube videos, which I'll cover in a second. You've got highlight sequences. So first of all, start here. Clearly gives the incoming leads a place to start. B is equal to MAP. We are targeting the P here. We start here. Life. Show your personality. Show some fact that you're a human. Don't just be a fucking dumbass, like a little crab behind the screen. Don't do that. Inbound funnel. Inbound funnel. Value related to your unique mechanism. So my unique mechanism is the inbound funnel. This is where you create trust by providing information and expertise. You talk about information, specific kinds of value for your specific, your specific mechanism that you sell. So you've got the prompt here, which we already did with start here. Now you're giving them with motivation. Boom. Clients. Show client results. Increases perceived authority, because humans are always interested in the story of others. We base how valuable things is based on how easily examples come to mind. The moment you provide some client results, that is when you make it a lot easier for your clients and your leads to remember you. Let me explain this psychological principle, which is actually going to change the way you understand understand human behavior. Why are we afraid of being in plane crashes more than we are afraid in being car crashes, even though statistically car crashes are more likely to happen? It's because when you have to think about a plane crash, you get an example coming to your mind easily and instantly. Same way, if you have to think about a car crash incident, you can't really think about it. So we base things to be truthful based on how easily those examples come to our mind. We believe things to be truthful based on how easily examples come to mind. This is why racism exists in the first place, right? I'm not justifying racism. I'm talking about why racism exists, because we think about, like, stereotypes exist for that same reason. Right? Stereotypes exist because we base the truthfulness of something based on how easily examples come to mind. Plus, we also place social proof as another important factor for making decisions. Our ancestors did this to determine if a person is good or not, if the tribe is good or not, if we have any chances of survival in the tribe. This is what we did. And we do the same, but for obviously different reasons. This is what I like to call the personalized highlight. I'm into fitness, so I show a little bit more about my fitness sort of stuff. So she'll show a little more of your life, because people ultimately buy into stories. We do want them to buy into you to some degree, because obviously we want to make sure we are authoritatively having the frame. Show them your story, show them why you matter, let people buy into you. And then results, obviously show your own results, show proof that your own product works for yourself. Again, the moment you get people to remember your proof as simply as possible, that is where you create genuine trust and conversion, because if they think that you can get them results, that is where the real money lies. And let me show you these highlight sequences as well, so you have a better understanding of how to structure them. So start here. Immediately I'm talking about the things that I've done. You can again see these drip down format stories. Look at this. Life. Look at this. Inbound funnel. Giving value about what it is to have an inbound funnel. Look at this. Testimonials. Life. Again. Results. Another highlight sequence about my life. Like, everything is engineered in a way that optimizes for conversions. Next thing. Once they go to your profile bio and they actually DM you something. Now it's the DM. So DM scripts. I can't reveal the DM scripts because obviously my clients pay for this, but the DM scripts is where the sauce lies. Like, you convert people in the DMs. Qualified leads get sent a booking call page, right? They get sent a booking call page. The unqualified prospects get sent weekly YouTube videos. So you redirect them to YouTube. Because think about this again. The value ladder. Think about this from this perspective. If a lead who actually reaches out to you is in phase 1 and phase 2, there is no point in selling them this solution, even if they're ready to buy. You send them to YouTube, in which they are able to solve this issue from phase 1 to phase 2, so that they convert into phase 2 to phase 3. They pay you money. You're creating a leveraged way to extract markets. You're creating demand, because you're creating ICP at scale. You're creating demand. You're essentially, with your brand, you're vertically and horizontally scaling at the same time, which is one of the craziest things that anybody can do. So this is where the real sauce lies in. You create sales assets like my robots, like this one, exactly. Breakdowns and concepts which will help the lead bridge one of the three phases. You provide knowledge and systems. Never dumb yourself down. Don't try to act all smart and think that your leads are kids. Your leads are not dumb. The entire point of the YouTube videos is to create an info gap. People believe you're an authority when there is an info gap. When you can make them feel that there is some information that you have that the lead doesn't. I have made you feel that this information that I gave you right now was something I had which you didn't. If you're watching this till now, good job, bro. Thanks. I really appreciate that, honestly. Your lead should feel as if they're not knowing shit and you have the information they need. Because once they do that, again, they're going to watch more of your daily story sequences. They're going to go to your profile. They're going to convert. They're going to help you get. They're going to hop on calls with it. They're going to be 100% ready to buy. This is exactly how I did it. Within 4 months, I'm attracting calls. Think about that. Within 4 months of starting a new offer, a new Instagram account, from 200 followers up to 2K followers. Not a huge gap. I don't even give a shit about the Instagram followers. I don't give a shit about that. Wow, I just disappeared. For some reason, my camera just disappeared. So I'm just going to wrap this video up. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can just click the description. DM me on Instagram. If you're a good fit, we'll work together. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Don't sacrifice your future self for the pleasure today. Peace.